I'm going to do what I call the Roman Reigns flexibility test. We've got some WWE Shop belts, some FANDU belts. We've got one done by American Custom Leather, belts that I did myself, the Water Buffalo, red dye, black. This is also from the same strap. So, well, what we call the Roman test, my friend of mine and I, is, for instance, the Big Eagle belt here from WWE Shop. Pretty stiff. When if you were, it doesn't have a tip, which makes a difference. But as much as it'll fold over, if you were to do, Roman used to do this deal where he'd be announced as the champion, and he would try to. Now, see, it doesn't have as much of the wave, right? You want it to really, really give you a good ripple and a good wave. So let me show you. The FANDU belt is significantly closer, and this is their version that comes with the black front and then the crocodile strap, and especially where you have the belt tip. I mean, it will do anything you want it to do. People talk about these belts having issues. I've never had an issue. I've had FANDUs for years. It's a really great belt. Now, does it maintain a little bit of the, I mean, every now and then, if you leave it in the sun or something, you can do that. But it does have a little bit of the tendency to have that kind of belt rigor mortis where it'll almost keep the shape that it was sitting in. It's not a big deal. A FANDU belt's very flexible. It's nothing like, let's say, a WWE Shop belt. Here's a Winged Eagle. And people rave about this is one of the more flexible ones. Is it, though? Is it? Now, you put some heat on that, it's got a little bit of flexibility, but it's nothing special. It's really not compared to what I'm going to show you in a minute. It's nothing special. Does it have a little bit of a wave? On a scale of 1 to 10, it's really more like maybe a 5 or a 6. Now, can you fold it up like Bret Hart and do all the stuff? If you finesse it enough, if you heat it up, yes. Like your foldability, it's just not there with these WWE straps that they have right now. Here's a leather strap that I did. It's unfinished on the back. I don't do backing. I don't cover screws and stuff like that. So it was a very nice piece of leather. I got this for almost $4 a square foot. So it's black for the old ones, and that was like $7 or $8 a square foot. This being $4, I was like, well, let's get some and let's try it. Here you go. It's very flexible. It's extremely flexible. Also, sorry to tell you, here's where it's at, brother. It is just as flexible as can be. That is drum dyed red leather. It's a real deal. It's great stuff. I have found that it's a beautiful, I'm trying to put a white background on so you can see it a little better here, but it's a beautiful texture. Now, I clean that stuff every now and again with saddle soap and put glove conditioner sometimes on the back of the belt, like you would in a baseball glove to break it in. I don't do that very often. Every few months, it's if it needs it, only if it needs it, because belts will just kind of dry out. They need to have a little bit of hydration. But that right there, it's one of the reasons this belt could be one of my favorite belts as far as performance goes. Now, I have this FANDU up here that I did on black, and it's drum dyed leather. It's a black drum dyed leather. And I think I should have done silver snaps, but it's okay. It's okay. And it's heavy, right? It's a very, very, very thick, a very, very heavy belt. And what I'll tell you about this belt is, as heavy as it is, it will maintain a little bit of the shape if it's been sitting there for a long time, but it's extremely flexible. It's extremely malleable. If you want to, you talk about foldability, what do you want to do? There you go. Right? The Roman test, oh, brother, there's no substitute for real leather. Now, when I get this stuff, a lot of times I work the leather, which is just working the leather. Just working the leather. Now, I use different kinds of chemicals. I'll use like a leather cleaner on the front. Sometimes, like I said, I'll use saddle soap. I'll use the lanolin is what's in the back of the belt that goes in the glove conditioner. So lanolin and vitamin E go through the back of the belt. And then the Lexol is also an excellent product for sealing up the front of the belt. So And these belts are super heavy. You're going to have to bear with me while I put this back on the shelf. It's kind of it's a whole thing because it's so heavy in the front. That front plate being heavy, I set it up on a towel or something else to kind of balance the height and for the traction of it. I just don't believe in that whole like putting it on the putting your belt in there. You can. I'm not going to. I think it leaves creases in the belt, and I'm not interested in having those. Now, this is the Water Buffalo. I get asked about this a lot. The Water Buffalo it's this great texture, right? Why choose Water Buffalo? Because Michael don't know how to tool anything. I don't know how to do all that tooling work around the edge of the belt. So what do I do instead? I use the Water Buffalo that has that beautiful texture inside, and it's great. And I thought about powder coating these or something, or putting some gloss, not powder coating, but putting some gloss over it, which almost looks like powder coating, and make it a little shinier. But it's, because here's the story. This, next to this FANDU, that's brighter. That's brighter than all of these, right? Even the silver. The FANDU is always brighter for whatever reason. And I appreciate Water Buffalo now. I paid a little bit more money for this, but it was easy to work with. Cut it. It's a little bit thinner, but I mean, look, even without the belt tip, right? And then of course, if you use the side that has the tip, which is what Roman would do, brother, your foldability. What do you want to do with it? What do you want to do with it? It's extremely flexible. It's extremely durable. And quite frankly, as time goes on, it's going to have more character from being used and being worked. It'll have more in the belt. Now, what I've done for this is I've put glove conditioner on the back and the front, and it actually was a lighter color, but when you rub that glove conditioner in, it'll actually make it like a richer, darker color. And it's just beautiful. Very beautiful. I have one more that I'll show you. Two more that I'll show you here. This is the original FANDU strap that these come on. This is the original strap. It's made of almost like a furniture leather kind of vinylish kind of stuff. It's very flexible. You want to fold it? What do you want to do? I mean, it's a great strap for default money. Whoever's crying about it, leather, whatever, you're just silly. You just are. I paid less than $200 for this belt. I got a great deal on it, and this one too, less than $200. But it's a fabulous belt. You want to hold it, do the deal, whatever you want to do. It's very flexible. And that's straight from FANDU, just like that. Do you think these belts tarnish and things? They might for somebody, but not me. I took care of my belts. Quite frankly, you can clear coat them and do a lot of other things that will protect your belt from having any kind of paint and tarnish issues. Here's the last one. Last but not least, this is that mega leather that I bought from Zach White's Leather Company when I did my last belt. And this is the milk chocolate kind of leather that I bought to put this dual gold on. And it is the softest. It's great, it's thick, and it's heavy, but it's the softest thing in the world. It just is. And it's been a fabulous, and yes, it is this thing is like a live electricity line, just, it's just great. And you can fold it, said any way you want. You want to do your flare thing, your Cody thing, whatever. It's fabulous. So that's what I look at when I'm looking at the flexibility. People grab some of these newer WWE Shop belts and they, oh man, that belt's great. I mean, these things, you just throw it over your shoulder and it's all the way down your back. Then now, some people will have a gap because this plate is thicker than their arm is and they're just going to have that drop. I don't have that because I'm 260 pounds. But yeah, that's how we determine whether you really have a flexible strap or not. Oh, and I'll tell you what, I'll do you one last belt. One last belt, because I have one from an unknown belt maker in Pakistan. This is a UFC belt from Pakistan. It's thin. It's very thin. You can see these letters, I believe, are glued on. So, but the back is covered and the whole deal. And it's that Pakistan floppy. They show you floppy leather. You know, they're nice guys. They really are. They message me all the time. They want to sell me something. You know, it's that super floppy buffalo, whatever. Does it pass the Roman test, brother? If you just want a belt that you can just like take, and I'm not going to do this, but if you just wanted to be able to take it and just throw it across your house, I think I paid $89, maybe $100 for this belt. It's great, right? You're going to take it to work, take it to a show. It looks okay, but I mean, it's if you're a belt guy, it's thin as can be. It's just not, the paint just doesn't hold up one versus the other. But here's where it gets interesting. Because this is a Pakistani belt, not a WWE belt. Well, how about the Pakistani paint versus the WWE paint? Not that much different. Not that much. Now against FANDU, night and day, brother. I mean, it's just, you know, as I just showed you. As you can see with the gold against the gold, right? It shames this stuff. But anyway, that's the different levels of flexibility, and the FANDU straps obviously are the most flexible. And I don't know what people are doing to them, but they've held up extremely well for me. The oldest strap that I have is one that I guess I'll never get rid of. It's the one done by American Custom Leather. Keith did this for me, I think, in like 2013. I've never had trouble out of this strap. It's fabulous. There's nothing it won't do. And I've taken this belt and just, you know, chucked it on the couch and done this and done that and the other. How is it so flexible? Is it a special leather? Is it a magic trick? Is it because it's 10 years old? No. It's because when I got the belt, I would do all kinds of things to it. Like I would roll it up. I'll show you. I'd put a towel to cover from plate to plate, right? You don't want anything scratching the other. So I'm going to put my fingers in between. But essentially, I would take and I would lay it like this and put a weight on top of it. I would lay it like that and put a weight on top of it. I'd roll it up, like roll it up. Maybe I'd twist it real tight. Put a weight on top of it. Yes, I have worked this belt, you know, done the whole deal and just worked it. I've not put a lot of chemicals on it. I think recently I probably put some lanolin or some glove conditioner on there, just because I do it every so many months or years. But yeah, it's been a fabulous belt. And if you've looked at any of my other photos over the course of time, or if you've seen other videos, this one has recently been. I put the gloss clear coat on there, so it's a little more like a mirror finish, but nothing has the mirror finish of the that I have found anyway. Nothing has the mirror finish of these FANDU belts where you can see. I mean, look at it, it's a mirror finish. That's no tricks, that's no nothing. I keep a jewelry cloth. I mean, I just do. I've got one that's got the two sides, so you can go over your belt and go back over your belt. It'll scrub the stuff loose and it'll clean it up. But that's the test. That's a little bit about the visibility, the colors. And I saw some new WWE Shop belts being reviewed, how they had really flexible straps, man. And I was like, you know, I'm not trying to be funny, but the Pakistan straps, we all know this, are more flexible than the WWE Shop belts. But my contention has always been that the best straps available by stock, anyway, are the FANDU straps with the crocodile backing. The stuff that I did, it's not easy to do. But I put in my own work, just like I made these cuffs with extra leather. But I paid probably $4 a square foot, which means I think that I paid like $40 for the whole hide that made up this belt that's red and that belt that's red. So all of that came for $40, $45 to do two belts. Of course, there's some other products in there, and of course, a lot of time-consuming energy. But if you're paying $300 for a strap, those people are keeping a lot of money. They put a lot of time into it. It's a special craft. But I gave away some belts recently, and I have found that I just really enjoy stuff having a great home and being a wrestling fan for 40 years. It just is what it is. To take belts and sort of turn them into blood money, or oh, I'm going to make some money because I'm going to buy a limited edition belt and turn it over and scalp the price or whatever. I mean, come on. No, that's not me. That's never what wrestling's been all about. It's been about something that's fellowship and being able to talk to people and get together, and you can argue about who's the best and what's good and bad and variety of styles and why you like one company or whatever, which is great. But to take wrestling and sort of turning that where you can like extract money from people, it'll never happen. And anytime I decide to sell one of these, if you see me in the belt community or something like that, it'll probably go at a very, very good price as long as it goes to a good home. And I'm very happy to have belts that pass the Roman flexibility test. And I'm okay with having a few belts that don't from my childhood. But if I get the chance to work with leather that would replace these, then at some point maybe I will. I just can't bring myself to cut this backing off of the screws and put it on to my choice of leather. It seems like this is a good enough strap for $300 that I can't imagine putting $400, putting an extra $100 into that, and then that strap basically goes to waste. So, waste not, want not. Anyway, I hope you do a Roman flexibility test on some of your belts, and you kind of see what we're talking about. I'm not telling you to go have everything re-leathered. I'm not necessarily telling you to learn how to do your own leather. But I just want you to know, if you're saying, hey man, this is pretty cool, these belts aren't flexible very much. They're flexible maybe 5 to 6 on a scale of 1 to 10. Real leather, obviously, is significantly more subjective because you need to have good leather and you need to condition it and you need to work it. But for the money, you can't beat the FANDU. And I do have a world title on the FANDU strap. This is the gunmetal version that has the gunmetal in it. Yes, it's on the crocodile backing, and yes, same thing. It's just as floppy as can be, and you can cry the blues all you want. I love my shop round title. It's more accurate and it's more real. And you let me hand this to somebody, and they will fall in absolute love with it. It's heavy. It's beautiful. It's super golden. The paint job on these is significantly better than the paint job that's on the WWE belts, and it shines better. Now, if you're trying to argue about whether this guy's got nose hairs or whatever you're crying the blues about because it's not the same or it's not the same, what the fuck ever. It just is what it is. This is where I'm going to tell you that this is a significantly more noticeable belt. It's better for the value. It doesn't have the problems. It doesn't need the maintenance. It's fabulous. It's the best money you can spend. They sell these several times a year for $199 for the gold. For the dual gold, I think even on those specials they run I think they run $289. But that's the best money you can spend. The WWE Shop version of certain belts is the only way to go for certain people. I'm not going to buy one of these from a third party, but I would think about it if they were $300. The classic shields and some of those people being what they are, it's like, come on, I can buy this, I can do my own leather for half the price they're going to charge. So this is where the more you know, the more skills you have, my leather bag being down there that I'm pointing to, the farther your dollar stretches, the better value that you have. If your argument is about, I don't know what's supposed to be more accurate. I'm not trying to look it up out of a book, and I don't sit there and watch Law and Order and go, that's not how it is in real life. Because, why? Leave that to the birds, man. Enjoy your belts. When they announce you, hopefully you can do the Roman. You can tease people. You can show them this is what real belt swag is. Whatever you think your belt collection is, if they don't do the Roman, then you just got the standard. And really, you want to be prestigious. You want to be far above the grade. You want to be like the OTC, right? rather than just being somebody who's got one of these default straps, who settles for a little bit less, and who's not quite up on their belt game. Because people who have it re-leathered are great, which is fine. It's fine to spend more money. But if you really, like I do, you take your belts down all the time, and you're doing whatever you're doing around the house. You let the kids play. Maybe you're showing off to friends. Maybe people want to know, so you're reviewing belts. You're taking pictures. You're just being informative. You're gonna run into creases and places on the belt. Like this has got some white places knocked into it from the edges of the spikes. It happens. That's fine. I'll get some blue paint at some point if I want to, and I'll touch that up, or I'll grind that down or something. But I quite frankly don't want things to be perfect. My hat is in no way perfect. There's sweat and things all through there. It's faded. It's been used and torn up, and it's got the miles and the memories on it. And if you have something that's brand new, then as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't have any value or any real like heritage or lineage. It doesn't have any memories, right? It just doesn't. So I hope you enjoy your evening, your day, whenever you're seeing this, and I hope you're really happy with your belts. But just remember, there's always a better way that you could be spending your dollars. This might be the way. Maybe it's something else for you. But for me, I feel like I have the best experience in the world because I put a little money into these. They're kind of like my kids. I put a little time and elbow grease into these. And I had 27 of them. I think I'm down to 15. And the rest of them that's kind of like giving away my foster kids. These are my biological kids. But one day maybe they'll grow up and leave the house. We'll see. We'll see.